guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, and today I decided to start a new series. So we're gonna be doing at least once a month, no, it'll just be once a month, a series called Flashback Friday, where I will be looking at my favorites from the month of last year and then figuring out if I still love the products, if I even still have the products, or I liked it that month, but then I found out I didn't like it. I thought it would be cool to revisit these products and just, see if I still like them. So that's what we'll be doing today. But before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. If this is your first time here, stay. Like literally, stay. Subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for deciding to come back, for constantly supporting my channel, and just being here on this journey with me. It really does mean a lot to me. So let's get into the video. Let's start with primer. So the primer that I really loved back then was Touch and Soul No Poreblem Primer. I still love this primer. So this is the same bottle that I used January of last year. I still love this primer to fill in my pores. It really smooths the face and I still really enjoy it. So still loving that. Then I forgot about this product. So here is the Melanie Mills Hollywood Gleam Body Radiance, and this is the shade Rose Gold. I also have the shade Gold, I think that's what it's called, but this is meant to use anywhere on your body. So that's the color of it. And then if you rub it into your skin, it gives just this beautiful like sheen to the skin. So this is what it looks like rubbed into the skin. So back then I used to use this to highlight here, basically where I put, my normal illuminators. And I was like, I forgot about that. I still really do like that product. I don't reach for it nearly as much as I used to. And it's probably because I have other illuminators that are probably a little easier to work with. Like, as you can see, this doesn't blend in and like sink into the skin. This really was made to make your body glow. So it's not gonna like sink into the skin and like mesh into the skin and give you that glow from within. No, you're gonna like glow. This is the mini size of the product. The larger size is like it's a whole tube because it really is meant for the body. But I use it on the high points of my face. The other illuminator that I fell in love with, can you guess it? The Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filt'r literally took over my life January of last year, and I have not looked back since. I wear the shade 6 Dark Tan. I don't even need to spend time on this. If you've watched like 5 of my videos, you've heard me rave about this. I haven't talked about this, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't talked about this as much lately because the Melanie, I'm looking at it now, the Melanie Soft Focus has like she's been a thing, but she stole my heart first from last year. This is a product that I would definitely repurchase. Do I need to repurchase it? No, because the Melanie product, honestly, kind of does the same thing as this. But you know how you have those products that it's like, I know I don't need to spend the money on it, but it just makes you feel a type of way, and that feeling is good. That's what I feel when I use the Flawless Filt'r. So like, it's something that I will always repurchase because it just has a special place in my heart. 2 foundations that I really was loving January of last year, Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. This foundation, I wear the shade 9 Dark, but this is the foundation that I reach for when I want just light look. Like, I don't want heavy makeup, but I kind of want to even out my skin tone. I want a little bit of coverage. I want that fresh looking skin. This is what this foundation does, and I love it for that. And then this one, I think this one has officially been discontinued. Y'all look at this cap. It is so broken and raggedy. But this is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I think this has been discontinued, but if it's still around and you want to try it out, I wear the shade 757. This was the first foundation that I did not have to set. Like, I could just put on my face and go, and I think that made me fall in love with it alone, because I was like, I could just put it on my face, I could put products on top of it, but it gave me such a healthy look. Not greasy, it didn't get oily throughout the day. I traveled with this. I went on a cruise December of 2018, and this was the foundation that I took. I think this was the only foundation I took, but I don't really use it on my channel because, like I said, I think it is discontinued. If it's not fully discontinued, like they're weeding it out of the stores. All right, a concealer that I liked back then that I don't have, and I'll put a picture of it right here, is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer. Now, I still love that concealer. I actually just recently did a declutter video of concealers and powders and primers. I think I'll link that video right here so you can see it. And so I decluttered that because I had it for like a year and a half, but I am gonna purchase that again. So I really do still enjoy it. It's full coverage, but it's not drying under the eye. And I love just how like flawless it made my under eye area look. So that is a good one. I just currently don't have it because I just recently decluttered it. On to powders. There was three powders that I really liked in January. The first one being, y'all, look how raggedy this is. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter. This is what I have left. I wear the shade medium. I'm pretty much done with this. And I should have already used this up, but you know how when you get to the end of something, you're like, I'm not ready to repurchase it, so you barely use it? That's pretty much been me for like the past 4 months with this. But this was like the only powder I was using for a hot minute. Love this powder. Flawless Filter is exactly how I feel it looks on your skin. That was the first powder that I had used that I felt did not make me look dry. And I was like, I'm here for you. But the other powder that I actually bought in January of last year and like quickly fell for was the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Loose Setting Powder. I have mine in the shade Honey. I love the shade. I love that it has just a little bit of color, so it doesn't, you know, I never get that white cast or like kind of like that pasty ghosty look that sometimes a translucent powder can look on women of color. And so I love that this has some color to it. It is mattifying, but in my opinion, it's not overly matte because I don't like extremely dry powders. And I really, really enjoy this. So this is definitely still a powder that I use to this day. And then the last one is the Sephora MicroSmooth powder. I wear mine in the shade Tan 35, and I have given this a lot of love. This is actually in my Shop My Stash this week. Still love this powder. It's such a smooth, like, you can use it to set your foundation, or you can use it as a finishing powder almost. Like not like a hourglass finishing powder, but if you just want to buff everything together and give that smooth overall look, this is a great powder for that. So these powders still here. So the bronzer I was rocking real hard with in January was actually a palette. So this is the Morphe High 5 8H palette. So this is what the palette looks like on the inside. And the bronzer that I could not get enough of was this shade right here called Debutante. This, and I still like the shade a lot. It is such a good kind of neutral-ish bronzer. It does warm the skin, but it doesn't warm the skin too much. And then these highlights, you can tell they got a lot of love from me too. This palette is just a good one. Like I haven't used it in a while, but I really, really enjoy it. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I need to take you out some more because this is a good palette. On that note, the blush that I really liked then was the Morphe 8W blush palette. And yes, this blush palette is really a good one. I love all the shades in this palette. All of them work on my skin tone. They all show up, even this very light one here. Doesn't look like it would show up on my skin, but it does. And it doesn't look chalky or ashy. And I really think they did right by these blushes. I would say check these out if you haven't. It is, especially if you're looking for like some compact travel palettes that just kind of have everything. Like they're so compact, they're easy to travel with. I've traveled with both of them multiple times. And yeah, like those two palettes I really was loving in January. Eyeshadow palette. So in January, there really was only one eyeshadow palette I remembered really reaching for a lot. And it was the Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. Absolutely adore this palette. All the shades in here are so pretty. The formula is amazing. Very much on par with the formula of her larger pan palettes. And I mean, you can't go wrong with the shades. It is just an amazing palette. So I still love that one. This was actually in my favorites of 2019 video. This palette made the cut because I loved it that much. Alrighty, since we're on eyes, an eye primer. I didn't realize I've had this eye primer this long. The Luscious Angels eye primer. This is still the only eye primer I have. This is literally the only eye primer I have. I think it does help to prolong my eyeshadow, and I like that it's easy to work with, meaning that eyeshadows don't really skip on it if I don't set it first, which I really like. So yeah, I mean, it's an eye primer that I really like. Brow pencil, CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. This is another one that I didn't realize I had been using this long. So I wear the shade Soft Brown. Absolutely love this brow pencil. Can't even tell you how many times I've gone, like how many of these I've purchased. But it's got the thin tip like the Anastasia, the NYX. I mean, at this point, I feel like there's so many variations of this, but I think I like this one because the pencil is not too slippery, but it's not too stiff where you feel like you're like tugging on your skin. I like the spoolie, like it's just an all-around good pencil, so I love that. And then there's two eyeliners that I really loved back then too. One is from MAC. This is the MAC Eye Kohl in Teddy. This is like a bronzy type of eyeliner. And then I have the Pat McGrath Eye Kohl in the shade Black Coffee. And this one is still a favorite of mine, but I will say the Melanie Eye Kohl has kind of stole my heart too, but that's the Pat McGrath one. The tip of my pencil needs to be sharpened, so that's why the swatch looks really ugly. But I still like the Pat McGrath one. Still really enjoy the MAC one, so they're still around. And then mascara, the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I remember I used to wear that all the time. So this mascara, I loved it because it really made my eyelashes look very voluminous and it lengthened them. But I just feel like it clumps so quickly. Like after using it for a month, I was ready to toss it. This costs way too much money to be repurchasing it every month and a half. So I think it's an amazing mascara, but it just, in my opinion, clumps too fast. I forgot something. Another foundation that I was loving then was the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. I'll put the picture of it right here. And I did like it, so I wore the shade 500. But there's a couple of things about that foundation. The more I kept wearing it, the more that it turned me off. One, the shade 500 was too light, and then the shade deeper than that was too deep. So I felt like I could make 500 work, but when I would see myself in pictures, I could definitely tell it was too light. And then it just kind of sat funny on my skin. I felt like it didn't really mesh into the skin like it should have. And the more I kept wearing it, the more I kept just seeing it sit on my face. So I ended up decluttering that foundation. So she's no longer here. And then a concealer that I really loved was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I'll insert a picture right here. I loved that concealer. And I think I decluttered it because I ended up using it up, but I never repurchased it. But I had no issues with it. It was a really good concealer. And that's it, guys. Those were my favorites from January of 19. And for the most part, pretty much all of those are still favorites for this year. If not favorites, I definitely still use them. So I still think that that counts. Which, like I said, lets me know that if I put something in my favorites, I really, really like it. I just don't be throwing stuff in my favorites. But I had fun doing this. I can't wait to show you all my favorites of February of last year, because I actually did make a video for that. And I think starting February, I pretty much made a favorites video every month. So I'm looking forward to this series to see like what I liked from last year, how it compares to this year. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me in the comments below what if you can remember some of your favorite products from January of last year. Do you remember? Let me know what some of them are. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.